Alright guys, so I'm going to take you back in time to closer to the beginning of the month before I sold the van. So you will see the van in this video because I shot this video while I still had the van and the van had not been sold yet. So one of the first big things I did to this box truck was these walls didn't look like this. Now, one of the things I said about getting a box truck is the good thing is there's not a lot of demo work. You basically already have your aluminum box, whereas if you get a passenger vehicle of any sort, you're going to have to strip some stuff out to be able to turn it into a home, usually, especially if you really want to do a detailed build. If you get a bus, for sure, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Even if you get an ambulance, there's stuff to pull out. My whole logic was if I got a box truck, there would be less to pull out. But it did turn out that I had some demo work to do. And the biggest thing was these walls used to have wood strapping along the walls. I don't know if that's what it's called, but they were basically wood planks up and down these walls, and a couple of them had what's called speed racks on them. And speed racks are there so that if you load this up as a box truck, you can strap stuff in so that it doesn't move around and all of that. I don't know how many of you have loaded box trucks. I have as a stagehand. But anyway, so there was wood strapping on the walls, and then there were speed racks on some of that wood strapping, and I basically had to get all of that off. And I thought it was going to be pretty easy, to be honest. I'm not going to talk about it. Go ahead and watch the video. So I guess you want to get a look around. So let's go. All right. So first of all, there's a couple things I need to do today. This van is dirty. Like, I think they just didn't try. Like, this thing is like full of dust. And I think this was like the van they took on dump runs. In fact, I know that because the guy told me that. He like would use it to take stuff to the dump all the time. That's not why he was like, yeah. You know, we use it all the time. Like I said, the engine got a clean bill of health. It's just those ball joints and those two front tires work, but it's nothing serious. It's just pricey because this is a big vehicle. I'm probably going to keep my roll-up door. I do have a roll-up door. And what I think I'm going to do, so that I still have a roll-up door for when I want to look industrial, because the goal is for this to look industrial when I need it to. My Stealth is no longer looking like a city vehicle. Like a standard city vehicle. It's looking like an industrial vehicle. So I'm probably going to repaint this because it's a mess. But I'm probably going to keep my roll-up door. I have a bunch of these. I don't know what these are called. I'm going to take them off and try to sell them. If I can't sell them, they're going to the dump. But one of my tasks today is to get all these off the wall, both the metal and the wood, because I just want to get down to these guys. I'm probably going to leave this here. I do already have a cutaway. So yeah, I can already get from the cab to the box, no work needed. He left this toolbox in here. I'm gonna take it off the wall, even though I've had Mickey in here a couple of times and he likes being up here. So I put a little cat bed up here, but I'm gonna need to take this off the wall. We haven't slept in here yet. You know, I've just driven it a couple times and I brought him with me so he could get used to the new vehicle, start, you know, getting used to his scent being in here. He's walked around all in here. We have a new big litter box right here. Mostly because this is big enough and with a lid that he can kick litter around in here kinda, and it's not going to be as bad getting on the floor. But once we have like a real floor and not just like the floor of the box truck, I'll have litter mats down and stuff like that. But I wanted to get him a nice big litter box. Also, he's a big boy now. He's not a kitten. So his other litter box is kind of small, but it's also in a big open space, whereas I wanted an enclosed litter box for this space. So that was one of the early expenses. Until I can actually get the furniture I want built, I plan to live out of bins. So I have like food bins, clothes bins, and tool bins. And I'm just gonna live out of bins. Like, that is the plan, to live out of bins until I can, you know, make this actually the space I want. I don't want to invest in any sort of temporary furniture. I'm just going to live out of bins. I'm going to throw my stove on top of bins and cook. I'm going to crack the front windows until I can get a roof vent. It's one of my major first things I want to get. I was going to start on insulation, and the reason I'm not is because I want to install some underbody boxes. But now I realize that may not matter. I thought I might have to bolt through the floor, and I didn't want to have to bolt through the floor for underbody boxes after I'd already laid the floor down. But now that I've actually gone under there and realized what I have to bolt into, it may not be an issue. So I may be changing my mind. And since it's not going to cost too much just to insulate and put down the subfloor, I may make that a higher priority than I was going to make. I do want to put a window right there over the cab, which would also be right beside my bed, for lots of reasons. Fresh air, a view. I definitely want at least one side window, but I don't know if I want one or two. But I want at least one. And also, I think you have to have a certain amount of egresses when you go to talk to the DMV about converting your vehicle over to an RV. So at least having one window that could be an emergency exit is actually kind of important. And I just want one by my bed, just for ventilation and stuff like that. And like I said, this area, like right above the door, like that's where my bed's gonna be. Now, a lot of people didn't understand why I sold my bike. Here's the bike. And one of the reasons was, like I said, a lot of this is about having a space where I could work out in the space. And right down here, see this? This is a bike trainer, which means I can turn my bike into an exercise bike. And the small bike did not fit a bike trainer. So the bike trainer will allow me to use the bike as an indoor and outdoor bike. And I do have a plan as far as like floor layout that makes sure that can happen. My bed, like I said, over the doorway is going to be a platform bed. Over the doorway, it's only going to be a twin bed. I've slept on less than a twin bed for most of my van life, and I've only had something twin bed with since I got the last design on the other van. There's probably going to be storage over here. Inside the bike, I want to store quote unquote outside, and basically what I want to do is I want to have a false wall about a foot in, and that'll allow me to use have a micro garage space on the other side, but also have a real door, like a real entranceway door. And when I'm camping, I'll have the roll-up door up so that all you see is the pretty tiny house door. And then when I need to be in the city and I want to look more industrial, I have the rolling door down and I'll just look like an industrial truck from the back. And that is important to me. I also like the idea of having like a micro garage space here. And then when because I have the lift gate, and I'm definitely keeping the lift gate, because I have the lift gate, if I drop the lift gate, it's kind of like I have a porch area. So when I go out that inner wall, I'll be on a porch area, and I think I want to put like sort of deck planks or something on there. So that's like sort of, but that's long-term plans. That's after I've gotten like the inside done and prioritize the inside stuff, like having my bed. Like, I think once I get insulated and I have walls and a ceiling and a floor, probably in a different order, and ceiling fans, like one of my first major actual build pieces in the van is going to be that platform bed. But most of my big priorities are things that affect either the van itself, because it is a box van. I know we use the term box truck, but literally on the title, it is titled as a van. It is titled as a van, so I'm going to call it a box van. So no, I'm still the Dawn of Vanlife. I'm not the Dawn of Truck Life or I'm not changing. It's going to be the same title for the channel. Element Vanlife didn't change his channel, and he's left the Honda Element 2 vehicles behind. You know, it's just his brand now. So my brand, it's just so silly saying that, my brand is not going to change. So some of my big top priorities is getting those ball joints done, getting those the front tires replaced, getting a ceiling fan in here for ventilation, because it is kind of stuffy and hot. And I do want to start transitioning to living over here, and getting at least one window in. The other two I don't really care about, but this one's probably going to be the easiest one to get in, because on the side we have these ribs that we have to work around. Like I said, all this wood is coming off. And also the corners do have some holes that I'm going to fill. That's one of my big tasks for the day. So I'm not going to talk anymore, because I want to get to working on the box truck. After giving everything a good sweep, I started working on getting the stuff off the side walls, and I started on the driver's side, and I really hadn't calculated how difficult it was going to be to take out all the bolts and all the screws, but this was the easy side. With the piece of wood over the cab, it started out easy enough, but then I ended up hitting the area that was right by that toolbox that was attached to the wall and kind of hit a stopping point. I started with the speed racks on the other wall, the wall with the toolbox, just because it was the easiest thing to get off. So basically, I ended up cutting down the wood planks that had a portion of it trapped behind the toolbox. I didn't record that part because I was just frustrated at that point, and I was out of time because I had to go to work. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It wasn't much, but it's kind of a peek onto what's going on. I did that on March 5th. Like I said, this is going to be a very slow process. I mean, it's when I realized the day I had shot that and realized it's the end of the month, honestly, a lot has happened, and I'm intentionally making sure you guys can't see some of those things. That's made this box truck different, but it's not like furniture or like all the internals. And the thing is, like, I need to get the externals done first. I basically needed to get the ball joints done, and I needed new front tires like right away, because the ball joints had caused severe wear on especially the driver's side, but also on the passenger side in the front. So I needed to get those done, and I did not have the money. And luckily I got helped out with that. I mean, I've been helped out in ways I'd never expected. Like, I thought I was going to be saving up money for a while, and I was really afraid to drive this thing too far until I took care of that, which is why at first I wasn't too stressed about having the van as well, because if I had to do a significant amount of driving, I trusted the van to do that at this time. Now I'm fine. Like, I'm totally fine driving the box truck, and going anywhere I need to go in it. That's what I have been doing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So one of the first things I did was strip the wood off these walls and get the speed racks off. As you saw, there used to be a toolbox in the corner over there, and that was actually way harder to get off than I thought, and then I wasn't able to get it off that first day. So yeah, I'll show you some more of what's been going on with the box truck in future videos. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. So still editing on the cell phone, so the Patreon and YouTube membership scroll is not back yet, but I promise as soon as I have a laptop again, it'll be back. Thank you to everyone for hanging out for this video, and if you're interested in more updates on this box truck journey, you can subscribe right below. It'll also help me out with YouTube. That's all I got for this video. That reminder and my special thank you to all of my supporters.